So this is another off-season Dagger Pistol Daredevil game where I have Magic Toker on my team playing Mesmer, and he's a very experienced, probably the top thief player on NA. So he's going to be playing with me, so he knows how to play with a thief very well. And Mesmer thief combos are very strong, so you'll see some rotations here that we'll be doing together that we're not on comms, but we still know how they work without having to communicate them. Other than that, we have another Mesmer and a Necro who doesn't have any support. Warriors are not really able to support anyone. They're kind of notoriously selfish class roles in a comp. So they really want to be 1v1ing, not with the Necro. So our rotations are actually kind of weird because it's like if the Warrior goes home and then the Mez Thief don't really want to team fight, where does the Necro go? So our comp is actually pretty bad, I would say, but hopefully me and Toker together can do enough work to carry this. So right off the start, I'm playing Dagger Pistol, which is not really too meta, but since the enemy team doesn't have a firebrand, and I didn't really know this, they actually do have a guardian, but it ends up being a core guardian. But if they did have a firebrand, I'd definitely want to be Sword Dagger, which is the currently most popular meta thief build right now. But since I'm with Toker, Dagger Pistol is actually pretty good because we can +1 very fast. So I'm going to go to mid, and I see their thief. He ends up having Bandit's Defense and some kind of like Condi dodge, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to try to focus him. And you see that we're giving up mid immediately, which is really bad on Legacy because it's such a hard node to debunk since the respawn point is so close to... And you can see I get revealed here, so I'm kind of like dead. I realize it's a DPS Soul Beast. You see, so I die immediately at the start, which is really bad. And you see there, rapid fire worldly impact doing a ton of damage. So you kind of know from now on, hey, that's a DPS Soul Beast. Don't just let him free cast on you. So from now on, I'm going to be more careful around that. I thought that was a druid, so I was kind of just standing on node because I assume he's going to be doing no damage unless his pet's on me. So okay, so it looks like Toker takes his portal to far and he's low. So I need to go help him. He takes the portal back, but the ranger is there, so he's going to be pressured still. I need to create +1 situation for him. Normally it'll be him creating a +1 for me, but I think I can actually take this 1v1 myself because I know how Core Guardian works. You basically want to spam interrupts when they don't have stability so that they use their stability, and then when they use that, that's when you want to steal. So right here, I force him into his elite, don't stand near him because I don't want to take any incidental damage, and I save my shadow return for when he's about to port onto me. And I wait for him to dodge. Always wait for them to dodge when they when you want to steal because they don't have many resources to actually evade. So it's a pretty reliable steal if they dodge. And as you can see here, I'm just spamming dazes on him so he can't cast on me. They do have a lot of instant casts, but you can kind of play around that by using your positioning. So we get that kill because Toker pluses it at the last second. I think I would have got that kill anyways. But here we really are having some trouble on the map because we can't really secure home even though their team is hanging around mid. So our Warrior and our Necro are not really doing too well together. But at the same time, I can't really push into there because then if I do that, then they'll just push into Toker and then they'll 2v1 him. And we'll just lose far. So while that's kind of a losing play to play for one cap at the same time, it's more like we're waiting for the opportunity to be able to push the other node. Like now is not a really good time to push the other node. So we're just going to get this kill here, and then from that we're going to bleed it and look for more kills. So I see Toker has the portal and I take it, but it's a core guardian and I immediately take 90% of my life and damage to getting hammer 5. So I'm in a really bad spot. And as you can see, there's a ranger rezzing the thief that we're trying to bleed. So we're essentially like 2v3 here, right? So I'm immediately going to disengage. We took the portal there, so he doesn't have portal off cooldown. So we're in a really bad spot. And the Mesmer's on me now, so I'm essentially having to interact with 4 people on the enemy team. And I survived that because the Mesmer blows a bunch of his damaging skills into my evades. Whereas if I tried to use my heal skill, he would have landed more damage than I would have healed. So it's important that even though I was at like 1k HP that I didn't use my heal. Here I'm actually going to steal the ranger so they can get the res on Toker because he's like one of the most important persons on my team, so I definitely want to get him up. I don't want him to be out of the game. And because I used all my cooldowns to res him, I actually need to go decap because I'm not as effective in a fight if I have no cooldowns because I can't play as aggressively or I'll get punished and I could instantly die if I don't have any cooldowns. So it's a lot safer to go for a decap there. And I see that the Mesmer is a really easy plus on this ledge over here, and I kind of want to support our Necro. As you can see, our warrior doesn't really survive very well in fights as well, so that's going to be an issue later on. And I know that that res is impossible, so what I do is I stealth his down body and just keep moving on so that they think that I'm rezzing and they'll just cleave it thinking that I'm rezzing, and they'll just cleave him so that he comes off of respawn faster, which is essentially like getting a res on him, but very slow res. I think it's actually better that I let him die like that than try to go for a really slow res, because it's essentially just giving them 5 points, right, if he comes back and respawns. So here the warrior is fighting another warrior at home, but he's going to get +2'd here as well, and the thief is actually watching home, which means he's not plussing Toker at far, which I think is a mistake. But we try to go for a 2v2 here. Oh wait, it's actually the other Mesmer, so it's me and Toker 2v2ing at mid, which is really good because we can win almost any 2v2 here. And the thief actually leaves. I think he's going to far, so we just kill this guardian here. And I interrupt his heal, so I immediately know that he's got no sustain left, so I actually stand there and just try to kill him as fast as possible. Even though it takes a lot of damage, because I really need to get him killed before his heal comes off the 4-second cooldown from interrupt. And I had to reset there because I saw the thief coming in. So I come back after I get full health, and we need to cleave this down body because we're getting 1 or 2 people to plus this. Yeah, the Mesmer and the thief are here. So I give Toker some stealth, and then I go back in for the down cleave on the Mesmer who's trying to res. And I'm pretty sure that Toker would have died if I didn't give him stealth there because he has the thief on him, yeah. So he actually does go down still, but I really need to get this cleave because I can potentially get 2 kills. And I force the Mesmer to portal out, and I see that Toker still hasn't been stomped out, so we can go for this res. The other Mesmer sees it as well, and we get that easy res. So we're advantaged on the map right now, and we see the Soul Beast, the DPS Soul Beast, so we need to focus this thing. Now the issue here is it's not really a good 2v2 comp, because like if this was a druid, he would be like really hard to kill, and then the other target is a warrior, which is also really hard to kill, whereas I'm pretty easy to focus, and so is Mesmer kind of easy to... It's not as easy to focus, but it's still easier to focus than a warrior or a ranger. So If this was a druid, it would have been a really bad matchup. But since it's a soul beast and they're easier to focus, we can actually get that kill. The issue is no one was really on it when they came into mid, so I swapped targets to the Mesmer because I think that the Ranger is too hard to kill or something. But they swapped to the Ranger, and I feel like I shouldn't have swapped off of him at that point. So now I'm focusing this Mesmer, and as you can see, home is getting free capped because no one can 1v1 that. I believe that's the Mesmer or the Thief. Basically, our Necro is just kind of dying wherever he goes. So he really needs to be in situations where he's got, like, basically their Zerging. And so the Thief did full cap home. And as you can see at far, Toker is 1v1ing a Core Guardian, which means I'm pretty sure that's a good matchup for him, but I think he might have been pressured from something else. Yeah, you see the Guardians there with something else, so he was 1v2. So I quickly stealth here because I can see the Guardians getting ready to burst someone with Shield of Wrath on the ledge. I should be going far to +1 that because that's a soul beast, but I see this kill on the Thief. And actually, yeah, I probably should leave at this point. I shouldn't stay for the kill. Though my teammates are kind of low and I give them my Signet because I don't need my Signet myself, so I give them an extra dodge, which gives them more survivability. And I kind of waste some time there preventing the Thief from self-resing. Like I waste Panic Strike on his down body, but it's fine because we get the kill here fast enough and we're already winning far. So we have a 3 cap, sort of 2.5 cap. Yeah, the Soul Beast and the Warrior there. So we stealth up and I target the Soul Beast. As you can see, he's already used Sikkim on the other Mesmer, but I think we weren't on the same target here. So now that we see the Ranger going towards mid, it's a really easy target though, because anything that's off node is like food for Mesmer and Thief. And I'm not sure exactly what our Warrior is doing because he gave up the node for free against like a Staff Thief. So it's kind of questionable there. That's like a free kill for any kind of... He's like an Axe Warrior, but still I think Core Axe Warrior should probably demolish Staff Thief. And as you can see there, I cast Basilisk Venom right after he uses Bandit's Defense. So everyone just stunned. He just gets chain stunned. I wait for the stun to happen, and then I use my second stun right after. So we get that kill pretty easily, even though he's running a kind of weird build that has like no presence but can survive. And here I just pressure, I kind of zone their Guardian off so we can get the full cap. And you can see the Warrior doesn't want to push in now because his Guardian's been zoned off as well. So the Warrior goes to home, right? He doesn't want a 1v1. So their Warrior actually rotates pretty decently. And I think at far, me holding this Guardian in Rhodes is actually good because it gives our Mesmer a good matchup versus a Soul Beast at far, and it allows him to get the decap. But then the Guardian rotates in, so I have to really pressure him harder, or the Mesmer is going to get focused. Like, you want to not invest in fights too much as Thief because you don't have a lot of sustain, but at the same time you need presence, or they're just going to 2v1 your other partner, right? So I try to maintain pressure on the Core Guardian because I know that they don't have much sustain, and we do get the kill. If that was a Druid, this would have been a harder matchup, but we still would have been able to... We still would have had to... wait, that wasn't a Druid, that was a Warrior. Okay, so... yeah. Still probably should focus the Guardian in all situations there. So, as you can see there, I did like 3 Heartseekers. That's because I wanted to steal Heartseeker really badly, but I wasn't sure whether he would dodge it. So I just kept Heartseekering and waiting for the time where he would be in an animation that I know he couldn't dodge in. So the third, like, I was pre-casting Heartseekers, but every time I wanted to steal, I was like, no, he's dodging now. And then the third Heartseeker is when I saw the Warrior use his Dagger 2 skill, which has a really long aftercast and can't be stowed to dodge. So it was 100% I would land steal in that situation. So I try to stall mid. I get Sikkim there, so I can't stealth. And we're losing far, and this Necro's probably going to die again. He's just kind of been dying all game. So I figure I might be able to help him here. I see the Mesmer's really low. Wait, that's a clone? No, that's the Mesmer. And I wait for him to use his evades and stuff before I try to steal. It's something you should always try to do, is wait for an evade, because they're less likely to double dodge than they are to single dodge. And the Druid comes in to try to support, but I chase the Thief. Now, if you notice, the Necro is 1v1ing a Soul Beast, and he's going to lose this because he's been pressured in the 2v2, right? And I chase the Thief off the mid, and while I get the kill, it just means that our Necro's going to die at home again. And it's not necessarily his fault this time, because he's been pressured, but still, it's like, well, we were essentially in a 2v3, so like where were the other people on our team? And as you can see, our second Mesmer was kind of just like there at mid, and I didn't really need him, so I'm not sure like what they were doing far. So I can see the Mesmers coming in towards far right now towards us, but the Core Guardian is still the best target. What I do here is I stealth and shadow step into his ring before he fully casts it, so that I can kill him. It's always important to get kills faster, because how Guild Wars 2 works is cooldowns are a lot of your sustain, and the cooldowns are on relatively low timers. So any kind of pushing through a cooldown that you can do will allow you to kill people a lot faster than if you had just waited out that cooldown. Because how people try to 1v2 in this game is they use a chain of cooldowns and dodges and terrain and jumping puzzles and all that stuff to survive. If you're ever like just sitting there tanking damage, you're gonna die, right? Right here, we're kind of like, we have a 2 cap and the game is about to end, but I don't realize this, and I try to play for the long game, because if we have a 2 cap and like the game lasts another minute, we would win, right? But I don't see the timer, and the game actually ends, and we're actually 1 kill off of winning, which is pretty unfortunate. If I was just aware of the timer, I would have stayed at mid and got the kill on the warrior instead of trying to play the long game, and we actually would have won, because we lost by 4 points. So that's actually pretty big misplay on my part. We would have won that game if I would have just stayed mid. But if you notice, the after game statistics show that I had like 15 kills, 1 death. The 1 death was from the start when I didn't know they had a Soul Beast, and 2 resurrects and 400,000 damage, which is actually pretty low. That's a really low value in comparison to like Necro. It's high for a Thief, but it's low for a Necro. So it's kind of like, yeah, our Necro was kind of not doing much in this game. So it's kind of questionable there. We did pretty good. You can't really blame a loss on the final play. You got to blame the loss on every single play in the game that leads up to that final play being necessary, right? Like if we didn't lose home every single time, I would have never needed to make that play. We would just be in a safe position. But obviously we still could have won if I did that. So it becomes the most vivid thing in your mind because it's the final play. But yeah. Still a good game overall, I think. That shows a lot of how Mesmer Thief rotations work. And Dagger Pistol Thief in a role of like a Mesmer Thief roaming comp is actually pretty strong because of the stealth that it provides